So first of all, you don't have to have any background elements. If you prefer, you can simply keep this clean and minimalist. But for this sample, I'm going to show you a few different options which we'll explore together, and it's good practice to see how this could work if you need to use it. So this is an artboard I've created, and I'd suggest doing the same to lay out some background elements that you'd like to work with. You don't have to use vector files for this. Bitmap is absolutely fine, so you can use JPEGs, PNGs. And as you can see here, I've collected a range of things that I'd just like to experiment with. I'm perhaps going to use these much more subtly. I don't think I'd use these at full opacity. I might take the transparency down. If the color's not working, I can always change the color or the tone in Photoshop, maybe even use black and white or monotone. But the best place to find these would be from a stock website. Now, you can't just grab elements off of Google, especially for a real world project for a client. You know, that could get you in big trouble. So for the small cost of licensing a stock element, I highly recommend doing that. So you can see some of the elements I've picked out came from Adobe stock. You should have access to that. You'll even have an account if you're using Adobe CC. And I've searched for here orchid on black, because I know I want a black background for my box and my votive. So just have a look and see what's available, see what inspires you. Sometimes rather than just searching for gold stars, for example, I've searched for gold stars background. And you'll see a big difference when you actually include the word background in a search. These tend to be graphics and elements that will blend a little more easily into your artwork for the purpose you intend them. Gold orchid on black brought up some interesting results for me. I mean, you can see from this template design here, this is maybe a little too strong, but some useful elements you could play with. And something like this, where you've got this kind of hand-drawn gold leaf feel, this could look really premium. Something like this could work nicely as a background. Again, perhaps you want to pull the opacity back so it's not too strong. But elements like these are perfect to give you some options and give you some freedom to experiment with your artwork. So I wouldn't license any of these until you've tested them and you're sure you want to use them. So you can see on my artboard here, some of these still have the Adobe stock watermark. I've still got the reference number, so that if I try one of these out and I like it, I can then go back and license it and swap it out. And I would simply position them on artboards, and then I tend to export my artboards so that I've got things nice and organized and all my backgrounds are in one place. And that way, if I need to license something and the details have been cut off, I can come back here and I'll be able to see in the document name on the top left, I can see exactly what the licensing number is. So try to prepare a few potential backgrounds you can use. You don't need as many as I have here. I've just tried to create a range to give you some ideas, and we'll try some of these out in our next lesson, where we finally get to 3D modeling and finding a starting point for our artwork.